And yeah, we really loved that style, so that was what we looked at. We had to be really careful because it was all night shoots, and for those of you who work in film will know that shooting at night can get very expensive because you've got to light everything.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not daytime where you have the sun. So it really affected everything because we had to light very specific pockets, and literally if we moved the camera a little bit, everything would have just disappeared because we were only lighting exactly what we needed. So we had to be really specific with the blocking and where the actors could go, because we could only light so much because we had to move really quickly because we're on a low budget as well, so we didn't have time to, you know, light whole streets. And so things where they had to like skate down streets at night were always a nightmare, but we got there. We kind of became vampires during the shooting because we'd always have to get up at 5 p.m. and go through till sunrise, and there'd always be this frantic call at 5 a.m. when the sun started rising, and we had to move quickly because we're gaining light, and that was like the last thing we wanted.
Oh yeah. So what was it like trying to be mindful of, since it was set in the late 90s, what could end up on camera and not? You know, did you have to go through every filming location and just like, get that out of here, get that out of here, get that out of here?
Yeah, like I had what we called the anachronistic box, where I would go into each set, because especially the production designer, he was great, but he didn't quite get how anal I was about that stuff, like how intense I was. And so yeah, I'd sort of go onto the set, and if there was a DVD there, it had to go, or if there was a poster advertising a film that came out in 1998, that had to go. So we're all really strict about it. And it was, luckily his team were all sort of kids of the 90s, so they all knew it, so they could all recognize certain things. And it would come down to ridiculous things, like someone would see a perfume bottle in Romany's bedroom and go, oh, well, that's Marc Jacobs' line from 2008, so that can't be there. You know, so luckily everyone got really in on it, and the disaster day was when we're at the service station and we're all just looking at everything going, what came out when, you know, so we had to, and actually there's a lot of CGI in that scene because we had to sort of paint bottles out and change things, and you've got to get clearance on all these brands as well. Like we weren't allowed to say certain things, especially like team drinking. No one wants to be associated with that, so we had to cover up a lot of brands and stuff while still using the pop culture references because it helped sell the period. So yeah, it was a balance.
I mean, how did you cast the teenagers?
So Toby Wallace, who plays Corey, I'd worked with him before in a short film, and he's just an amazing kid. Like he's 21 now, but he's just has a huge heart, and he's just the sweetest guy. And so I knew he could pull off that role really well. Justin Holbrook played Django, the blonde-haired bully. I always have to specify who Django is because in the first cut we realised nobody ever said Django's name. So we had to go back in ADR and all these lines where people off screen always go, Django, you know, just so people would know what his name was. So I'd met when he was 14. He just has this intensity and a toughness to him, even though he's like the sweetest guy. But that sort of toughness that you can't act. And so, because he's just from a bit of a tougher upbringing. And so he was really wonderful. Mitzi, who plays Romany, I was living in Beijing, so I had to audition a lot of the actors via Skype, or they would send me videos. And she had sent in this really intense audition. It was really emotional and fiery, and I really loved it. And I couldn't work out why she had gone so intense with it. And when I met her, I found out what had happened was she was on her way to the audition when she got a call from her mum saying, oh, the dog's really sick, we're going to have to put it down. And right now, I'm on the way to the vet to put it down. And Mitzi wanted to drop everything, but she said, no, you've got to do the audition, but you'll never see the dog again. So she went in, and she was sort of fighting back tears and was just used it in the audition. And it was this amazing performance. And then she walked out at the audition, and her mum called and false alarm. Turns out the dog's fine. So she still has a dog. So all it ends well. And I now know a trigger to help teen actors get to an emotional space, just find out what's happening with their pets. So yeah, so we laugh about it now. But yeah, it was a bit traumatic for her. And then Gulliver, who plays Jonah. So he'd been in some quite big films when he was like 10 and 11. So he'd only worked with 3 other directors before me. But those directors were Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and Tim Burton. So I kind of had some high standards that I had to live up to. But he just had this sort of otherworldliness, and strangeness to him. And it's really funny because even though he was older than Mitzi and some of the other actors in the film, he just had this young, kind of childlike quality that was so right for the character. So yeah, so they all gelled together really well.
There's a question right over here.
First of all, great soundtrack.
Thank you.
Can't wait to have a copy of it.
Yep.
Best film I've seen at this
Thank
festival.
you.
And how long did it take you to shoot the film?
So we had 25 days to shoot. Yeah, which was quite, I don't know if that's slow or fast for you guys, but for us it was very, very fast. It felt like
Most Indies.
Sorry?
Most Indies shoot in 28 days here.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, well, yeah, we earned on through. And yeah, it was intense. Like, and we'd only get access to certain locations once, so like the cemetery, we had to just pack it all in. And yeah, and so I know that the score is available on iTunes, and I don't know if the soundtrack is here in America, but hopefully it will be. Because yeah, we had a lot of fun choosing the songs. They were always in the script, like I'd written them in from day one. The hardest one was Marilyn Manson, actually. Like everyone else agreed really quickly, and he didn't. And so he had said no, so I wrote in this 5-page letter on why the beautiful people had to be in the film. And it was a very personal letter. And everyone was saying, oh, cut it back, it's too long to read. And I went, no, well, that's the point. I've just got to wear him down now. But he read it and then said yes, which was good, because we had just finished the sound mix and we had no backup plan. So, so that worked really well. Yeah.
Speaking of music, can you talk a little bit about the Day of the Dead scene and the music? There's 2 great songs in that scene. Talk about where those both came from.
Yeah, so the weeping woman in the film is actually my best friend, Wendy Rule, who lives in New Mexico. And so she'd written this beautiful song. She'd written it in English, and I said, could you sing it in Spanish? And she didn't know any Spanish, so we had a translator come in and help her do that. And yeah, she just wrote this beautiful song. For me, it was really important that a mother's grief be acknowledged in this scene, and that's, for those of you who speak Spanish, you'll know that's what she was singing about, but for the rest of us, that's what she's singing about. So yeah, and so it was actually the first thing we shot. We shot that on day one because we only had access to Wendy on that day because she was about to go on a world tour, so we had to just shoot all her close-ups and then we shot the rest of the party on the final day of the shoot. So so that was a lot of fun. And then the man in white sings Live Lightning Crashes. There's lots of little 1997 nuggets in there, little references to the era, and we chose that song because in 1997 in Australia there was these horrific murders, I don't know if you know them, called the Snowtown Murders, and there's a film called Snowtown that's all about those, and it was about this man who was killing all his neighbours and stuffing their bodies in barrels. And a lot of them really liked him, and he was good friends with them, and he would play them Live Lightning Crashes as he killed them. And so whenever I hear that song, I would think of that, and it's sort of now you will too. And it's just really haunted me, and I thought, well, if there's this, not Death, but the character who works for Death, he probably has heard this song a lot, and maybe he really likes it, and maybe it's become something that speaks to him. So that was why that worked its way into the film.
Where did you learn filmmaking?
So I went to film school in Australia. I went to the Victorian College of the Arts, and then after that I did a writing course because I found that film school wasn't very good for teaching you writing. It sort of taught you to express yourself and direct and stuff, but not really sit down and churn out 100 pages, you know. And so I did a writing course that really helped with that. Yeah.
Have you made other movies?
I've made other short films. So I made a short called The Last Time I Saw Richard that had Toby in it. And originally they were very much linked, but they sort of grew apart in the making of them. But originally they were meant to be the one story. But it all kind of, they became quite different beasts. But yeah, that one's on YouTube and Vimeo. And yeah, and I've made a few other shorts and worked in television as well.
Another fun fact is that the film screened this evening at the Overlook Film Festival, which is where The Shining was shot in Estes Park. So I wonder if you could talk, are there any sort of genre director influences that you could speak of?
Yeah, I mean, in a way it was less the genre directors and more people like Richard Linklater and Jim Jarmusch, more that, and also how good 90s independent cinema was. Like, it was just a really good movement of cinema. David Lynch was certainly a big influence, and things like Twin Peaks, Fire Walk With Me, that film was a real tonal reference for us. But also I was making, because the cast were all sort of born in like 97, 98, I had to give them like a 90s crash course, you know, so they were all having to watch things like Ren and Stimpy and The Craft and Point Break, and I was giving them music lists of what CDs they would listen to and who their icons and role models would have been, so they had to get to know all of that. And they really loved it, they embraced it. One of them got a Ren and Stimpy tattoo, so they were the right kids for the film.
Right down here. Yes.
Speaking of influences, it home reminded me of the works of Larry Fessenden. Films as Habit and Wendigo.
Oh right, I've never seen those. Yeah, I'll have to check him out. What's his
Like
name?
Larry Fessenden.
Larry Fessenden. Cool, thank you.
Are there any other questions out there? Oh, yeah, right there.
Yeah, me again. How did you create the visuals for your film, like the wolf shadow and the tree growing bigger and?
Okay, yeah. So we went practical as much as we could. Those ones weren't. Yeah, so the tree was actually right in the middle of a golf course. So we kind of had to shoot around. We had to frame it, set the tree up around various games of golf, and then get ready to shoot. And we had one night to shoot all of that. There was a special effects guy I worked with called Will Gammon, and he actually has a little place by the beach. He's a surfer. He gets up early and surfs, and then does visual effects. But he does a lot of visual effects for Hollywood stuff gets outsourced to Australia because we do it cheaper.
Huh.
So he's worked on things like Harry Potter and Hunger Games, but he was able to do our film quite cheaply because he wanted to support Australian cinema, and he rarely gets a chance to work on films in his own country.
Yeah.
So we were able to get that done through him, which was wonderful.
Cool.
I was wondering what some of the inspirations were for the scary stories, like the ghost stories.
Yeah, so they kind of jumped off from urban legends, you know, like kind of little ghost stories that people would tell themselves walking home. And it was kind of based on a game I used to play with a friend when we walked home, when we would try to freak each other out. And so yeah, they all kind of had jumping off points from fact, or not fact, but a pre-existing myth. And then I'd sort of warp them to help suit what the characters needed to hear at that moment. So yeah, the one about the girl in the drain was, you know, that's like an urban legend about that she'll scream when you turn the lighter on when she sees the light, and the wolves in the walls. No, I just kind of liked that image of school, and I thought it was a good way to sort of describe how teenage boys are at a certain point and how awful that is. Yeah, originally there were more stories in the film. There was only so much the film could hold, so we cut that back. And I guess a big reference was actually, in that respect, was Stand By Me, like that pie eating scene. Like I always loved that moment of the film. And also a film called The Company of Wolves by Neil Jordan.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my favorite movie, and I
It's so
see
good.
it right away.
And it's so
I'm a huge
underrated.
Cable Carter fan.
Oh, fantastic, yeah.
I heard the line, and then I saw all of the imagery, especially with the marionettes, and then there's a scene where the boy, where Jonah's running down the hall, and it's the final scene where the wolves are chasing down the hall, and it's the same where they're crashing against the wall, and there's just all this force, and I was just like, I saw it right away, and I was like, holy shit. There it is.
Well, it's funny, yeah, so many people don't remember that film, but it's a real little gem, that one.
It's amazing. It's so good. It was one of Stanley Kubrick's one of his favorite movies.
Really?
What's it
Yeah,
called again?
The Company of Wolves by Neil Jordan.
From a story by Angela Carter.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of all her short stories threaded in, and Angela Lansbury's in it. It's really wonderful.
I'll have to remember that.
Recommend it.
Okay, guys, is there any other questions? Yep, right there in the aisle.
Yeah, Lucy had a steamboat. I learned that exactly the way it was in the film here in Minnesota 50 years ago.
Really? We were actually just had a Q&A earlier because there's another film in the festival called something about rhythm. I forget its title. Let's Get the Rhythm. And it's all about girls' hand clapping games and
Patty
where
cake.
they originate from.
Patty cake.
And she's got the story of where that originated from. And one thing we discovered when we were shooting that scene, I just had this weird legal conundrum that kicked in the day before, and I just rang the film's producers and said, just check this legally. So the words are in public domain, but the melody that most people sing it by is actually the Looney Tunes theme, Merry-Go-Round Broke Down, which is owned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So whenever the boys were singing it, I'm like, and a little less melody this time, guys. A bit more percussive. We don't want to be sued. So we had to do lots of takes because your natural inclination is to sing it, and you have to break it down and go. Yeah, we had to just make it really regimented. So Warner Brothers and so us.
All right, we'll leave it there. Everyone put your hands together.